Let's go and have some fun and talk to everyone. I promise it's a fun thing to do. Let's grab ourselves a glass and talk it up our ass. It's time for me to have a beer with you. Come on!
What's up, Craigbot? Craigbot, I don't know what I would do without you. Oh, I gotta make sure my headphones are on. They are. Good. I don't know what I'd do without you, Craigbot. You're such a convenient tool to record, to be so kind as to record me and my guests on these shows. We just gotta wait for him to show up and we'll get started. Well, we're just chilling, man. I mean, you're so convenient. However, Craig, I do have a gripe, and it's mostly my fault. But you you don't hold on to recordings for long enough, unfortunately. And I lost the one with Chris, and so that one's gone. That one doesn't count. I did not do my due diligence on saving that file, so that is my bad. However, we must move past these things.
Hello there.
Hello there. What's good? What's going on?
Messing with AI again.
Messing with AI.
Yeah, it's stable diffusion. Image generation.
Oh, the Dolly type stuff. Is this a different one than Dolly?
Yes. It is a locally run AI. I mean, you
Okay,
can run it on servers, but I run it locally.
got it. Is it better than Dolly? Is it just different?
Certain aspects of it are better. Dolly's a
Okay.
very good general use one. This one, you can just tell, like, by the prompts that it's, like, really different. And
Okay.
um,
Well, that's cool. So what, you just been messing with that all last night?
essentially, yeah, I'm trying to, like, perfect an image, and it's just taking forever.
Okay. Well, hey, before we get too far, you sipping on anything?
Yeah, water.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Dude, I went to Kroger and got like a flight, two flights of you could just grab random beers and put them in the flight and it's all like $11 or whatever. And there was one that was German and I cannot say the name. I mean, it's like Paulana Muchin or something, whatever. And I was like trying to look up how to pronounce it before getting on the Discord call, and I was like, I can't do it. So I swapped it out, and I went with a different beer that I can pronounce because it's called Fat Tire Amber Ale.
Fat
That's
Tire Amber. Where do people come up with these names?
well, I guess the brewery is Fat Tire, or is it New Belgium? New Belgium Brewing Company. So maybe it's like the Fat Tire series. Amber Ale. I've had it before. I can't remember where. It's pretty good. Pretty. Let me take a little sip. Yeah. I need to get better. I need to grow a vocabulary on how to describe beer.
It tastes good.
beer, beer, good. Much yum.
You seen the Green Book?
I have not. I know what the Green Book is.
There's a scene where he's like, "How's it?" He's like, "How is it?" He's like, "Salty." He's like, "Ah, you should become a food critic." Salty. I can just picture it.
Much salt. Yes. Yeah. So that's something I'm gonna have to train myself to do is go get a thesaurus and maybe look up some beer critics and try and learn their lingo. But I really never really have anything bad to say about beer other than like maybe if I get to the sour beers where it's really fruity and um, they're kind of not my thing, but I'll try them. But I still don't even want to like crap on them because I know someone out there is going to like them. So why say something bad about it? It's just not my thing.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of beers like yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. So I just wanted to insert that. So this image generator,
Yes.
what's it called again?
Stable diffusion.
Stable diffusion. Sounds cool.
I remember because diffusing is what it does. I remember someone was describing to me it's called stable diffusion. I'm like, okay, but what's it's called? Like, I understand it does stable diffusion, but what's the name of it? He's like, no, that is the name.
On first.
I feel like calling a video game video game.
Right.
It's like,
It's like trying to talk about the band The Who.
yeah, yeah.
The Who? Or the band Yes. Yes, I've heard of Yes. Well, that one kind of works. But
Uh, who's on second?
you're
What's on
right.
first or whatever?
Third base. That's cool, man. So what images are you trying to generate with it? It's just kind of messing around with it, or
So specifically, this last night, I was trying to. MSI has been reposting people's art. Like for some reason, a few people have been making art of MSI, and it's just become like a kind of a joke. So
MSI? What's that one? Is that what it's
MSI,
called?
that's a gaming company that makes like motherboards and stuff.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, like graphics cards and shit.
Hmm.
Got it.
And people have just been like retweeting art of MSI Dragon and stuff. So I'm making MSI Chan.
So you're just piling on at this point.
Yes, exactly. I'm putting
Uh,
way too much effort into it.
have you heard of this AI bot Chat GPT? Have you
Yeah.
heard of
Yeah, GPT-3.
what? They're on the third version.
Yeah, so Generation 2 was pretty good. I believe AI Dungeon, if you've ever heard of that, uses GPT-2, or at
Is
least a
that
form of it.
what is that, a video game? Like a text based?
Yeah, oh yeah, so AI Dungeon, basically, so you know like those text stories that you'd like play in video games? It's like
Hmm.
try to find the wall and it like gives you options and stuff.
Yeah, you're in a dark room. You find the
Yeah.
hammer, whatever.
So with this, it's a lot more interesting because you can type like literally whatever you want and it'll like respond properly.
Spin around in circles endlessly.
Yeah, and then it'll be like you become dizzy and fall on the floor or something.
Right.
Like it like properly follows like any prompt that you give it.
Okay. So that
Um,
okay. So people
it's
are
not the
already
best.
okay. Because yeah, I was trying to read up on it before you got in here, and then is Guardian has a article about that, and it's saying it's a prototype dialogue-based AI chatbot, or it's the GPD stands for GPT, not D,
Mhm,
generative pre-trained transformer,
mhm.
and
And it's
learns
not just text. It can do images. It can do that's what Dolly is. Dolly is GPT-3, but the image version of it.
right. So people are kind of using it as Google, apparently. Like, how can it be used? Early users have described the technology as an alternative to Google because it is capable of providing descriptions, answers, and solutions to complex questions, including ways to write code and solve layout problems in optimization queries.
Yes, it can also write code. I believe that version of it's called Codex. But yeah, no, it's like literally like you can ask it like anything and it'll just give you the answer like based on what it knows, what it learned from the internet. So you can be like, what is explain to me the Fibonacci sequence, and
Okay.
it'll explain to you how that works and how it's created, and it's like almost like a person who
Well,
knows about it just talking to you.
I've also heard that like you can prompt it with like a hey, tell me a story about an alligator that goes and works his 9 to 5 job and comes home to find his whatever, his wife alligator with another alligator. Like
It's
you
literally
can
like essentially like talking to a human.
right.
Like you just ask it for something and it'll respond like a human would.
Hmm.
You can be like generate a title for the story and it'll like throw some ideas out there. You can be like create a cover for it and you can hypothetically generate an image of a like a book cover. You
But here's the
could
more important question. Can I replace
mm,
you with this chatbot? Is that
probably people have interviewed GPT-3 before.
oh, have they?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's cool.
That's the thing.
Honestly,
And it
like it does it still feel gimmicky to you? Like
a little bit. It definitely needs improvement. If I could get my hands on it, I could definitely find use for it, but you know, in terms of like commercial use, it's not fully ready yet. I mean, just like I can't, like computers. Like computers back then could serve lots of purpose, but unless you really knew what you were doing, it was just kind of like a gimmick.
Just I'm curious where like the absurdities will go with stuff like this. Like, am I gonna walk into an art museum one day and all of it's just AI generated bullshit? It's like,
So the direction I believe AI will go in art is, well, yeah, you can just simply generate images, but I feel like it'll be a lot of AI assisted art. So like you'll like be working on a piece of art and use the AI to help you work on it.
mhm. Like, hey, I need
Like it could
grass
help
over in
apply
this corner.
shading,
Right.
could, whatever. But I feel because I mean computers computers do that nowadays anyway. Because if you think about it, like like the fill tool, like automatically fills it in for you to up to a certain. You can saturate an image or adjust the
Yeah.
contrast of an image. That's like all computer assisted, and I feel like AI will just be a much more extreme version of that.
So there's still the human at the controls, if you will. They're thinking of the original idea. Oh, I want Godzilla at a sleepover,
Yeah,
and you know, so it kind of gets that maybe as a baseline, and then you're like adjusting the prompt or taking some sort of tools to that generated art to enhance it in some sort of way.
and then I think there will always be the market for human drawn art. I mean, that I feel like that'll always be, no matter how good it'll be, people will still want their art drawn by somebody that they know or some famous person. Like the value comes from almost just from knowing that someone made it for you.
I mean, I don't know how true that is. Like, let's say maybe in the music realm, some music starts coming out by an artist, and no one really knows who the artist is. We just know it by a name, and everyone's like really gravitating towards the art. Like, and they go, "Oh, hey, by the way, this is all a computer. There's no body." Like, we've trained the computer even to the point of it can think, not think, but like it can just randomly shoot out some notes and then kind of hone it in to a song.
Sure.
And we go, okay, well, all the humans are enjoying that. Like, would people care, or would they go, like, okay, for instance, like pilots, and maybe this is a bit too far, but like, I don't foresee people being comfortable with getting on a purely robot or automated airplane. I feel like people are always going to want some hand, some human there
There will
to
be.
control that.
Even
But
nowadays, like 90% of a plane flight, 99% of a plane flight is AI, but there's still a human behind the wheel. I feel like that'll always be a thing. Going back to
yeah,
like your artist example, like yeah, there'll always be, or there'll be like AI creating music, but there will always be humans making music as well. It's not going to totally remove that market.
I don't think it would totally remove it, but is that going to be a selling point? Like, hey, did you hear the new human produced hip
Yeah,
hop song or whatever?
exactly.
Or
I don't think it's going to like yeah remove too many jobs.
what? Yeah. I mean, people can find their niches in music, and they people can absorb what they want. I mean, like, if we think about it, 99% of art is just kind of out there that no one's really absorbing. There's
Mhm.
tons of
Yeah, yeah,
art
yeah.
that just no
There's already
one.
lots of competition.
Yeah. I'm kinda interested to see how AI is really gonna change the video game space. Like,
I'm really excited to see the first. Like, I can imagine like the best use of this would be like put GPT-3 in Skyrim and have like the NPCs like have AI generated speech to you,
right, yeah. Yeah, because I
instead
was
of like the same lines over and over again. They'll like say something new every time.
yeah, or like you can kinda throw a whack job. That's what I mean. I almost wanna type instead of having just like a selection of dialogue. I wanna be able to
Yeah.
type to the guard, or, whatever,
Or even
some
speaking to a microphone.
priest. Oh, yeah, speaking to a microphone as well. And
Hmm.
have them actually interact with that, and I can tell them some off the wall crap, and maybe there's a limit to it where they go, "Hmm, it sounds like you need help." and they
This dude's crazy talking about computers and stuff.
yeah. I'm sorry, computers? I do not know what that is. Like, I feel like even within any given like video game universe, there's going to have to be limitations. There are things that are not in that universe that you have to kind of wall off from even the AI.
Of course, people will be able to break it, like
Yeah, like
use it and stuff.
you're going into Skyrim talking about current events, like, hey, what about the World Cup? What's going on with that, right? Like, I feel like just for the immersion's sake, because yeah, it's a. I feel like you can maybe hone it in to where you keep it within that Skyrim universe, but because you don't want to lose the immersion of it all, but you can let it go into all manners of speech and be able to be informed by different things.
I bet, yeah. I mean, you always. I don't know how accurate that was about the metaverse. Like, so they're talking about like AI can help you generate a world, but yeah, I bet there'll be like maps and stuff all created by AI and all these meshes,
Hmm.
automatically generated. It's like, where are you going to find in this chest? Well, the AI will just make up something new, the sword of the underworld or something, and give it like a fiery look or whatever.
Right.
It'll be able to like generate entire games almost.
Yeah, but I feel like there's a lot of stuff that has to be taken into account. Like, I would imagine that you wouldn't want the AI to pull from everything. Like, almost be like, say there's 3 towns in a video game universe, and like, yeah, news can travel by word of mouth, but like, if a certain amount of characters haven't interacted with a certain amount of other characters, and you go to the next town over talking about something that happened in the previous town, I feel like it would break a wall if they start like, oh yeah, I heard about that, but like, there's no evidence that they would have heard about that. Like, I don't know how to explain it other than, oh, well, I guess I could say it this way. Like, when I play Tarkov, if I'm a scav, do you know anything about that game?
I know vaguely things about the game, but go
Okay,
ahead.
you can go into a raid as a scav, and it's your opportunity to kind of pick up some loot without risking anything. It's a random loadout that you're given. You can go into the world, try and loot some stuff, try and kill players, steal their stuff, and then get out with it. Um, but there's other AI scavs around, and there's kind of a karma system where if I kill another scav, the other scavs will turn against me. But the one big gripe that I have about it is if I'm on one side of the map and I kill a scav, and I'm like, oh, okay, phew, got his gun, got his backpack, and all the crap that comes with it, and I go walk to the clear other side of the map to other scabs that I haven't come in contact with, they'll aggro onto me like, hey, what are you doing? You're not supposed to be here. We don't like you. And they'll start
Well,
shooting.
yeah,
And it's
that's
like,
like the
well,
whole, like you commit a crime in Skyrim and no one was around, and you still like have a bounty or
yeah,
something,
even in Red Dead Redemption, it
or yeah,
was like
whatever.
that.
Yeah.
It was like some guy is alone fishing on a cliff, and I push him off to his death. And then it's like, oh, you have the little sheriff star now. And oh, there's a band of guys coming after you. It's like, how the hell do they know about this? Like, there's no one around. But it's like maybe there was one guy a million miles away that was an AI in the world that somehow freakishly saw that interaction. I don't know. It like to me it still feels gimmicky, but I'm still interested in where it could go, especially in the video game sphere. Like, I could kind of give a shit about the art stuff. I mean, I guess some of the art stuff would inform the video game sphere, but like, I don't know. Maybe I can get myself like an AI girlfriend. Maybe
That's a thing.
that's the real next step.
That is a real thing. I keep seeing advertised too on like Twitter and stuff.
Thank God I'm not on that cesspool. I mean, what?
It is yeah, that's a real thing, is an AI girlfriend
Oh
thing they
no.
have. Yep.
No, I still need to convert you over. I think you're gravitating towards the AI gods. I need to bring you back. Bring
Well,
you
I mean,
back to
it's the
humanity.
future.
Yeah, but how much of the future? I mean, we're like everyone, like Zuckerberg put a ton of money towards the metaverse. Like that was a huge bet on Meta's part. And I mean, who knows? Maybe he's so far ahead of the game that no one's really seeing the value in it. But right now, it's tanking hard. No one's going to the metaverse. No one cares. I've seen a couple articles talk about how, oh man, don't know what to get your teenager for Christmas? Think about getting them stuff in the metaverse. But
Yeah,
like,
no, the metaverse is pretty bad. Yeah.
yeah, but just like I mean, the Wii when it came out, they thought everyone was going to gravitate the Wii. Oh, everyone wants to be playing bowling in their living room and standing up when they play video games. But like, there was a lot of hype around it, and it didn't really come out. It didn't really fulfill the hype, from what I can recall, at least. And so I'm just curious if AI is just going to be the same thing. There's going to be a lot of hype around it, and it's going to have its applications, but it's not going to be like the all-encompassing thing that like takes over every aspect of our life, like the generalized internet did. But I could be wrong. Maybe I'll be worshiping the AI gods myself one day.
Um, I think it'll play a big part in the future. Just like computers have, I think AI will eventually evolve to it'll like each application will have its own use, but I think it'll be
But,
bigger than people think.
but will they become like us? That's the real question.
That's the hardest part about AI is making it human compatible.
Like, wasn't there was some, was it a movie or a TV show? Or maybe I dreamed it. I don't know. I thought I remember seeing something where like a guy went to a library and he could like bring up a past person and like talk to them about their life.
Probably like a love, death, and robot sort of thing.
Maybe so. That sounds cool. Like if I could go to the public library, and I don't know how you would do it. I think the whatever I was watching was like they downloaded their consciousness into the machine. And so you're talking to literally them as an accessible person, and it's their brain or their mind or whatever. But like I would be interested in that. Like go like some random farmer I'd be interested in talking to. Or like someone that lived in the cities during the depression era or something. Like or finding, I mean, we can't go back this far. The internet wasn't around. But like trying to imagine someone 200 years in the future trying to talk to someone now. Like that just seems insane. And personally, if that was something available, I'd probably go down that road and see what that was about.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows where technology is going to go? It's really hard to tell if that's the greatest unknown is the future of it outside of probabilities and hypotheticals and guessing. It's really no way to know.
But I like talking about it with you though, because you're really excited about AI stuff. And I'm a bit of a stick in the mud about it. So where do you think, like, what if you were just to let your mind go free? Like, where do you think AI is going? How far are we going here?
It'll be integrated into everything, just like computers have been.
Yeah,
It'll be on your phone. It'll when you take a picture. I mean, there are already AI is already kind of doing this. When you take a picture, AI will like modify the image to make it look extra sharp. Um, Anytime you talk, it'll always modify your voice so that it sounds really nice. VTubers are already like a thing where it's like, a fake person behind the camera.
mm,
Um, or like it's a real person with a fake avatar. It'll just be like literally everywhere. It'll be in your house. I don't think it'll be on stuff like, your blender and your fridge because I mean AI computers are already like people are like, why would I want that on a fridge? So I don't think it'll be there and stuff. But practical places, I think it'll be like everywhere.
I mean, if they could, like, the Internet of Things isn't really a thing, but like, if you could integrate AI to be like your maid and your butler, you don't think people would go for that?
But yeah, I
Like,
think they would.
but I mean, that would be, it needs the ability to see what's in the fridge and what's in the pantry. It needs to be able to
Probably
see.
have like an AI servant, maybe. But it's not gonna be like, you know, an AI fridge. It's just gonna be like an AI using the fridge.
Yeah, but why wouldn't, like, I don't know, let's just use Apple as the name. Like, why wouldn't Apple have Apple Home and everything where it's like, yeah, you have maybe a robot that goes around cleaning the house and can go out to the car and get groceries, but and who knows, maybe you have an AI car. So you just punch into your phone like, I'm really hungry for like Thai. And then the AI goes, Jacob wants Thai food. So it makes an order to, it finds a recipe for you that it knows that you're going to like. It sends an order to the grocery store. It sends the car out there to get the groceries picked up. It brings it back. Your butler or maid robot thing comes in, brings the food, puts it in its appropriate place, cooks you a meal, has it hot and ready, presented to you when you arrive home, and it cleans up everything to boot. Like,
I feel like all that would be very expensive, and if you can
yeah,
already afford that, then you might as well just get a person to do it.
yeah,
If you
but
can afford buying a robot butler, you could probably afford buying a butler.
but people have feelings, and sometimes, even if you have a butler, like, one of the funny stories I heard on the radio was talking about, the jockey was talking about how even if people get maids, like, hey, I'm buying a maid service and they're going to come to the house, whatever, 2 times a week or something like that. There's people, and my family did this too, because when my mom was going through a certain thing, we got a maid service to kind of take up. It was like, hey, make sure you clean up before the maid gets here. And it's like, well, hold on, what?
Yeah,
What do
yeah,
you
I know
mean I
what you
gotta
mean.
clean up before the maid gets here? We're getting a maid for that reason, right? So I feel like when you put the human element back in it, there's still like a sensitivity of like, well, I don't want them to do the ridiculous shit. Like, I don't want to. I don't know. I don't want to make a human have to drive out to a grocery store, pick things up, come back and cook it, when I have every little craving I might have in the future. If it's a robot, you can easily go, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't want Thai food anymore." While it's in the process of like going and getting the groceries, you're like, "No, I'm feeling like Mexican," and they just go, "Oh, beep boop boop bop Mexican," and it goes and does it. Whereas if it's a human, you feel like you're kind of jerking them around, like, "Oh, I'm being wishy washy with my order now."
I suppose.
That's just like the whole girlfriend thing. Guys just want to fucking have sex and go play video games.
Kind of
I don't
reminds
know.
me of like when you're on customer support and you get an AI. It's like fuck you.
Yeah, yeah, I'll sit there screaming into my phone, representative,
Yeah, yeah.
because I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to a human. Well, sometimes it's like it's something that the computer's not set up to do, and then I'll just resort to yelling representative,
Yeah.
because then I can just be like, "Hey, dude, yeah, I messed up this. I just need, or I placed the order wrong or something. Can you switch it?" And it seems easier that way. But like, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe we'll be absolute assholes towards our AI robots, and they will turn on us, and we will all
Possibly,
die.
possibly.
So what else you got going on, man? What's VR world like nowadays? What's going on?
VR world. Well, I'm waiting for them. Speaking of AI, I'm waiting for them to implement AI calculating leg trajectory so it can use your cameras to see where your legs are, and then when it can't see your legs, the AI will fill in the gaps.
What does it do now?
No leg capabilities.
Oh, so you're just like a T-posing. like just your legs don't move, kind
Oh,
of.
they move around like kind of based on what your avatar is doing, but assuming you don't have leg tracking, which I do, I use that.
But like, so maybe there's instances where you're running across the VR room,
Yeah,
but
it'll
your
just like
feet.
show like a generic running animation on your avatar.
Oh, okay.
And or like yeah, when you stand around, it'll just kind of like pose the legs like underneath you, and then if you like move over slightly, like your legs will kind of step that direction. It looks pretty good actually. It's not that bad, but it's just not what your legs are actually doing. And I've seen research papers talking about that, but I'm not going to go into details. Just that it can actually track your legs pretty well using just the cameras on your headset.
How much time are you spending in the VR world, man? Have you even tracked that?
Well, let's see. VR chat, Steam. On Steam, it tells me
Oh no.
850 hours.
Good Lord, man.
Eh, it's over a period of a few years. So it's
Yeah.
just where I go to socialize, really, hang out with friends and such.
What if one day you're in VR chat and you're talking with all your friends and the curtain gets pulled back and they go, "We were computers all along." How'd you
That was
feel?
really convincing. I'm really impressed at how well computers have gone, how far computers have gone. My
But
first
then
thing.
but then the realization of you actually have no friends.
Um, a lot of people spend all day at home doing nothing but playing on the computer. So
Yeah, but
I
like
have you. You're my friend.
okay, hold on. No, no, no. Let's go to the Twilight world. A Twilight Zone. Uh, I'm not actually real, Jacob. This whole time, the coworker you have known, the person you're recording this podcast with, I'm just a computer.
So are you saying that everybody that I know is an AI? Is it like
Let's
the
let's
Twilight
take
Zone?
let's take it to that degree. You are the only human. The world you're standing on is AI generated.
So it's Elon Musk. Like the whole like we're all in a simulated world.
Yeah, Elon Musk is your god that is outside of the universe. Um, yeah, everything you've ever smelt, touched, seen, everything you're standing on, sitting on, everything you've talked to, it's all just AI. The world is, in fact, a simulation for Jacob. What's going through your head? Does it just explode at that point? Your brain just goes to mush?
I don't think so. Uh, I don't even know like what would change. Probably not that much really. I would still probably like work because like I mean to enjoy myself, I still have to work. I still have to make friends. It's like I probably just carry on my life as normal.
I
I'd probably
don't
be a lot
think
more like
that's
free with what I do. Like I'd be like, oh, I don't have to worry about animals dying because they're just simulated, or I don't have to worry about homeless people anymore because they're all just simulations. So who cares?
Jacob, I don't believe you. I don't believe that you could be presented such information and you could just sort of shrug your shoulders and go, "Well, I guess I'm going to work tomorrow."
It's not so much I'd shrug my shoulders, but it's just like what do you expect me to do differently? Because
I
if I'm
expect
still going to enjoy my life, I still need money from my job. I still need friends to enjoy myself.
I expect your brain to explode. I don't, I like I don't know. That I think if anything, that's why I don't really gravitate to AI. Like I need the real world. I want to see ugly people. I don't want to see your Instagram AI filtered shit. Like I hate the world that we're going into. I'm gonna be the Luddite in this whole world. I will smash the machines.
You say over Discord or during a recording.
But I don't know. But I look at it as like a tool. I look at computers. I look at cars. I look at microphones as tools. I don't know if I can look at AI as a tool because I feel like AI is trying to move past a tool. It's trying to be everything. It'll write your college
It's
paper.
trying to
It'll
be the
be your
ultimate
best
tool.
friend. It'll be your lover. It'll console you when your family member dies. It'll whatever. Like I feel like it'll make you look pretty when you took a really shitty selfie of yourself. I feel like it's too much. People need to grasp onto the real world. Get out of the matrix, Jacob.
All right, mom.
Clean your room to boot.
I can see that though.
I
I
mean,
can
who
see
knows?
like that logic of like I just think people are into like some people are like completely into like no computers like or what are they called, the Amish?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you can go that to that extreme. It just you fall somewhere in the middle, I guess. I fall into the other extreme.
Or like we both drop into the cyberpunk universe, and everyone's like tearing off their arms to put on a cybernetic
Oh,
arm,
I
and
would
they're
totally do that. Yeah.
like, part of me is intrigued by it. Like, oh man, like as a sci-fi thing, like, oh, that's really interesting. Oh man, what if people started doing that? They're yanking out their eyeball to put in an artificial one that can do all these cool things. Like, but I don't know. I also kind of like my human body and my human eyes.
There's a cool aspect to it, the whole organic construction. I appreciate its interest, how interesting it is, but I just think artificial objects are just better. They don't require cleaning, they don't produce oil, they don't or I mean, I guess they do fall apart, but they can be replaced on like a human body. Can't
Right.
replace your arm. Unless
Until
someone
you,
like just lost theirs or I don't know. Like I guess you could like replace kidneys and stuff sometimes, but
until you get that cybernetic cancer. Didn't see that wild card coming.
been infected by a virus, a
Well,
computer virus.
that's what I mean. Like in Cyberpunk, you're just like, oh man, this biot. You could be like some teenager that's like, oh man, did you get the new Apple Eye? Oh yeah, put it in. And then like some vigilante or some criminals like, oh, I'm hacking everybody's brains now. Like, I don't know. It's a double-edged sword as far as I'm concerned. Like, there's a lot of cool things that AI and technology can do, but what's the other end of it?
Again, that goes back to all computers. It's like I put my personal information on the computer and then someone takes it. It's like, oh yeah, I mean that sometimes just happens, but
Yeah, I got
it's the
15 credit
thing you got to
cards
give
taken
up to
out last
use
month.
it. The thing you got to give up to use computers, but also that's already like a threat to begin with in the real world, and now it's just the digital version of that.
Yeah, I
So
don't
there's,
know.
I mean, there's always going to be threats no matter what you do.
I just don't want to be that guy where like cyberpunk happens and everyone's all bionicked up and everything. And they're like, oh, you're one of the organics. And then they put me in a museum or a zoo.
Is that what they do? What is that a thing?
Yeah, that's what they're going to do.
Is that
Dude,
no? Is that a thing in
there,
Cyberpunk?
there's going to be the Cyberpunk Organics Preservation Society. And they will start putting people into zoos or museums and preserving them to know, kind of like you go to the zoo to see monkeys. You're like, oh, we came from those? Interesting. And then you throw them some, I don't know, some fucking food.
I'm just a hamburger.
Yeah. Here's some Papa John's fat ass.
Or I'm more like the robots from Love, Death, and Robots, where they're like, why don't they just use a nuclear reactor or something or
Right.
whatever?
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
they had to like chew their food using bones in their mouths
Little
and
rocks. Yeah.
digest it.
I still love that little orange one when he drops the little basketball. He's like, how cool is that?
Yep.
He's the one that makes it for me.
Good stuff. Good stuff. But yeah, no, it's
I just want technology to get me to a space vacation. I want a spacation, okay?
Uh,
A
what's
hotel
what's
in
what's so great about space?
I first of all, I think if I could, I want to experience zero or it's not zero gravity, it's low gravity. Next to zero
Or
gravity.
apparent zero gravity, yeah.
Yeah. I want to experience that. I think it'd be cool to be able to look up into the sky and see home, see the earth.
I mean, I
I,
guess that'd be like cool for like a couple days. I can just see that getting really boring really quick. The zero
that's why
gravity would probably be the most interesting part, but I feel like it'd be very boring. Like, what would you do up there though? It's just not like you're on a space station. It's not like it's
that's why it's a vacation. It's a staycation. It's not my home away from home. It's not like I'm buying a cabin in the woods on the moon. Like it's I don't know. I'd do it for a week. I
yeah,
feel
I
like
can see
a
that.
week is enough. Just like as much as I'm crapping on AI, I feel like I could give my life up to AI for a week, so long as I know that I can come back out of the matrix and go, "Whoa, that was cool!" Like skydiving. I've gone skydiving. Like I'm willing to subject myself to a certain thing, but like if you were to tell me, "Hey, you got to skydive to commute to work," well, I'm probably just not going to get that job. like,
Yeah, I can see
like
that.
I could do things for a short period of time just for the experience of it. But like, oh, we got to go to grandma's house. Well, where's she? The moon. Oh, we got to go to the moon. Oh no.
Let me get my Game Boy.
Let me bring my Earth things because you just don't have those things on the moon. We have moon things on the moon.
On the moon, everything is made of cheese.
That's why. What is that from? Isn't that from something?
It's just like a joke because the hole has crater or the moon has craters that people call it cheese.
You see the when you look up at the moon, you see a face, right? Is that just me?
I've never seen the face. People say they see the face. I've never
I
seen
see
it.
a face. Now it's not like a happy face or anything. It's just like like to me it's a neutral face. But
I
I
see
feel
the rabbit making rice balls.
what?
It's like an old Chinese legend my friend told me about, and then I looked at the moon. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can see it.
It's the
Where
moon, the rice ball?
so there was like a rabbit. I can't remember what it did, but it's like its punishment was that it had to make rice balls on the moon forever. So when you look up at the sky, you can see the rabbit making a giant rice ball. So it's like uh, if you pull up an image of the moon, just look up moon, the first image that appears.
Okay.
It's a lot better if it's
Images.
blurry. Or I guess like the Wikipedia image.
Yeah, I got some HD imagery here. I see no rabbit.
So the rice ball is at the top left. It's like on its side. The ground is on the left.
Here's see
So
the hazy one.
it's making a rice ball. The rice ball's at the top left. Its tail is like the middle left, and its ears are going on the right, and that's like its head on the top right.
You know what? I'm gonna resort to rabbit on moon making rice balls. Let's see what comes up with that. Oh, here's some rice ball rabbits. Never mind. That was not. Oh wait, hold on.
Or
Moon
rice
rabbit.
cakes. I guess rice cakes.
Okay. Image
Oh, that's not at all what I see. Oh,
of a
it's showing
rabbit.
me images that I'm just not. That's not at all what I pictured.
It's basically like even with a decent photo of the moon, it's like all the darker gray spots are supposed to be making up the rabbit and the rice cake.
Here, let me just moon copy image.
An early Chinese source called the Chuxi a Western Han anthology of Chinese poems from the Warring States period. Notes that along with a toad, there is a hare on the moon who constantly pounds herbs for the immortals. This notion is supported by later text, including the Song era Taiping Imperial Reader, As rabbits were not yet introduced to China during Western Han, the original image was not a rabbit but a hare. Han Dynasty poets called a hare on the moon the jade hare or the gold hare, and these phrases were used often in place of the word for moon. Huh. A famous poet of Tang, China, Li Bai, relates how, quote, the rabbit in the moon pounds the medicine in vain, end quote, in his poem, The Old Dust. Interesting. Now I can say I learned something today. I have never heard of the rabbit on the moon.
Why can I not paste this
Paste what? Where?
into? Can I type anything? Yeah, I can. Huh. Okay, well, let me save the image. Put it in.
The file might be too big. I'm not paying for no Discord Nitro or whatever it's called.
Yeah, no, I can't put any images
Where are you trying to put it?
in the chat. In the topics, articles, meme ideas, chat.
Weird.
Here, I'll just send it to you directly.
Okay. Ooh. Oh, see, that's a different one though. That's like a rabbit holding it.
Yeah, that's what I always pictured.
Well, that kind of makes sense. But have you seen the other one
Yeah, I saw the other ones, and I don't think that's not what I saw at all.
where you have the tail of the rabbit is the rice paddy, and the ears are in the right spot, but basically the image that you have would be turned around.
Yeah, I can kind of see that, but that's not what I imagined when I
The
looked at
rabbit,
the
I
image
mean,
tonight.
yours is good too. I mean, that makes sense. It's like people looking up at the sky and look at constellations, and they're like, "Ah, see Orion? He's facing that way," and they point to the right, and they're like, "No, I thought he was facing the other way." Like people look, I
Or
don't
it's
know,
like three squiggles, and it's like, look, it's a goat.
right? Yeah. I mean, I went to the planetarium, dude, and to get one of those presentations, and it's like, "Oh, do you see it? Do you see the crab?" And it's like, "Let's look over here," and then you're like, "Look at that star and that star. Are you seeing it now?" And I'm just like, "No, I'm not." And finally, they do the outline thing, and I'm like, "Oh wow!" And I'm like looking to the either the left or right of it, like I'm nowhere close to where they were talking about. Or those books where they're like, if you stare at it long enough, you'll see a dolphin. And
Oh, those are pretty fun VR world that was like you can it's a bunch of stars in the sky and you can use a laser pointer and like create constellations, like outline constellation, like it'll like connect the dots sort of thing.
it just sounds like
That's
in
pretty cool.
ancient times, people were making some shit up.
Oh yeah, that's really all it is. Yeah, it's mhm.
I mean, I guess you had to entertain yourself somehow around the campfire.
I mean, isn't that what we just do nowadays? Just make shit up all the time.
Well, yeah, that's the whole purpose of everything. AI, the Earth, the world, the universe, the lot of it. We're just making stuff up. We're jazz, man. We're improvising.
What is the purpose of mankind? To make shit up.
The answer is 42. You know that reference?
Yeah, I know the reference.
Okay. Just checking.
Um, oh, I guess just another topic.
Sure.
What I wanted to bring up. Did you play Sonic as a kid?
There was one of the 2D ones that I remember playing briefly.
Because a lot of people like really obsessed with Sonic Adventures, and even like the latest Sonics are getting lots of what was this last one that came out? Let's see, latest Sonic game, um, Frontiers. And people are like,
Frontiers.
"Oh, it's so good." I'm like, and I just like watch gameplay and not even like edited gameplay, just like regular, just someone playing it. I'm just like, man, this sucks. I've picked up recently, I just like happened to hear about them, a game called Sparks, specifically Spark 3, Spark the Electric Jester 3. It's really cheesy and you can tell it's definitely like 100% inspired by Sonic, like Sonic Adventure 2 and stuff. But it's just so much better. It's like a more polished version of Sonic.
I'm sorry. What? I'm getting a cell phone. Techno Spark 3. What is this thing called again? Spark what?
Spark, just look up Spark 3.
That's what I just did, Jacob. And I got a cell phone.
Spark, what was the Spark 3 game?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there it is.
Spark the Electric Jester 3. Oh, it's on Steam. It's on the stem.
Yes, I've been playing that and I'm like, this is so much more entertaining than any Sonic game I've played or seen.
I'm on Steam. Load
It's
for
not
me.
perfect. There's a lot of things where I'm just like, oh well, this segment's pretty empty or something, but way better than Sonic, I
Well,
think.
right
Just in
now
terms of gameplay.
Oh, in the little like trailer, it looks like they're battling in arenas and stuff. He's not like
It's
is that
are on the Steam page?
yeah.
Let's see. There's some fighting. If you look like halfway, you
Okay,
see like
now hold on. Now I'm seeing sort of the Sonic like quickly running from place to place on rails and stuff.
Mhm.
Oh, and tunnels. Okay, I see that now. Yeah, I don't know, man. Sonic wasn't really my thing. I definitely fell for more of like the first person shooters, like war games and like racing games. Like my brother would play Sonic, but I didn't really care about it all that much.
Yeah, I just mostly played anything that my brother owned.
Yeah, well, yeah. My
Uh,
well, and I also didn't have like compared to my friends, I didn't have like the traditional video gamer upbringing where it's like, oh, when you started to walk, we gave you a whatever, a Sega, and then oh, you got Nintendo 64, and oh, then you got PlayStation 1 and then 2, and then oh, then the Xbox came out. Oh, the GameCube
yeah,
as well.
I
Like
didn't have everything, but I had like PlayStation 1, 2, Game Boy Color.
my first video game system
Sega
was
Genesis.
the original Atari. Like
Nice.
like my brother and I were like, man, our friends have Nintendo 64, mom and dad, and we really want to play video games. And they're like, video games? We had those back in our day. And I think I can call up grandpa. He probably still has that old box in the attic. Let's see. And so they go off and go get the Atari and bring it back. And they're like, have you heard of Pong or
Look at the cover
Tank?
art. It's like some really cool thing, and you upload it and you like plug it in or something or whatever you do for the Atari, and it's just like squares.
Yeah, you had to go and then plug it in. Yeah. Or Jungle Fall. That was one. It was not fun. And then when the PlayStation 2 came out, oh boy, get ready. We got the PlayStation 1 because our cousins got the PlayStation 2 and they didn't want the PlayStation anymore. So they gave it to us. So while everyone's playing all the new PlayStation 2 games, we're stuck on like the original Medal of Honor, uh,
Rough.
Road Rash.
PlayStation
It,
1 was okay, but
it
yeah,
was,
that's rough.
but like we got Twisted Metal. We played that a bunch. Um, but yeah, we were always behind until sometime in high school. I think I finally convinced somebody to give me enough money to go get an Xbox 360 because
I think
my
it's
my
funny too, cause like I remember in high school being like playing Pokemon or yeah, people were telling me about Pokemon in high school and we're like, you never played that? Where was your childhood? So I finally picked up like Pokemon Crystal and played it. And I'm like, oh my god, where is my childhood? I would have loved this.
yeah, like well, I can't remember which one I had. I had either blue or red. Remember playing that on Game Boy. So we did have those. That was like after Atari, we got the Game Boys. And
Yeah.
then I eventually sold a bass guitar for one of the PlayStation 2 Slims. So I got the PlayStation 2 before I got the Xbox 360. And the one game that I probably played the most of was like Need for Speed or Resident Evil 4. I played the crap out of those games.
Oh man, I wish I could go back in time. There's so many games I would like hand myself for the PlayStation 2 and be like, play that. Because
Yeah.
I didn't have enough, like I didn't know how to like look up games or like what games were good. And now that I
Remember,
have internet, or I'm like, I could just wish I could go back and hand me a bunch of games.
you remember Game Informer magazine?
I do, yes.
We never got them, but we had
Me either,
friends
but
that had them.
yeah, I've seen it like a couple when I was a
And
kid.
and the ones back in the day, man, they would start putting some crazy, like almost not safe for work artwork in those things. It's like, dude, we're almost approaching a Playboy here with some of this stuff.
Move over, Mario. Oh, yeah. I think I told you. I can't remember. Where it's like I was playing Game Boy. I had a Game Boy Color. And we're leaving a restaurant. And my grandma was with us, and she saw I left my Game Boy on the table, and she's like, "Don't forget your Playboy." Really loud in the restaurant.
And how old were you at the time?
I was pretty young. I don't know, like
Oh,
6.
that's awesome. Oh yeah, yelling at the 6-year-old, go get your Playboy.
Yeah. So that's pretty funny.
Suppose I could be wrong on this, but I think the Playboy started off as like a technology magazine. I want to say that's the original story where like Hugh Hefner started writing about tech stuff. Uh,
Didn't all things that eventually turn to porn end up start as like something that wasn't at all, you know?
No, no, no. The genesis is porn, and then it evolves into other things
You
like
know, like
AI.
what was it? OnlyFans, um any sort of like what was that one company that like went down 'cause but it was like mostly and then they like created the rule no more. Oh, what was it? I don't know, but yeah, I feel like that's most companies. They'll start off as one thing and then eventually just evolve to porn.
Don't get me wrong. If it's true, I almost I probably can't read all this, but if it's true, like that's pretty ingenious. It's like, man, no one's buying my magazine of like the coolest technology that's coming out here. Let's start putting naked ladies in it. And it's probably like back during that time where it's like, hey, you can't do that. Okay, what law says that? We don't have one. And then he just keeps going. I'll put naked ladies on everything.
Tumblr, that's what it was. Tumblr.
Oh yeah, Tumblr was notorious.
Yeah, it used to be like just a social website.
But then they nuked that thing, didn't they? One day they were like, they
No
turned
more.
off.
Yeah, they were like no more of this, and then they just died.
They're like, we must nuke the porn. And then yeah, who uses Tumblr anymore? They're like, all the traffic to my blog is gone. Why? It's because the porn is gone.
What was that CEO, College Humor CEO? And they're like, how much of our website's porn? They're like 90, 96. What?
Yeah, dude. I also heard a statistic that like the internet is like there's on average like 6 copies of any given thing on the internet.
I feel like that's true. That's a pretty funny. Like, yeah, on average, every image has like 6 copies.
So
That's
it's,
like
it's
posted.
so it's like, man, the internet is vast, but it's also really redundant, supposedly for no like the amount of like news articles, they're all written the same. They just
Well, I'm
had the
even thinking of
different
like people like on Twitter posting images or like GIFs. Like how many
yeah,
times is that GIF used?
or scrolling through Reddit every time like oh, it's either
Oh, the
somebody
reposts.
yeah, there's somebody trying to post it into every relevant subreddit to try and get karma. Or it's like people like, oh man, that's a great idea. Or even recently, I'm seeing ones where it's like, dude, I saw this 6 months ago. The story's already been told, and people are re-bringing it back up. It's like, God, man, come on. We're just repeating ourselves. But maybe there's nothing original anymore, Jacob. There's nothing for us to explore. It's all been had.
I think it's funny. Yeah, I've seen like whole topics talk about that. Where it's like, eventually, yeah, we're going to run out of ideas, but anybody who creates anything was inspired by something.
Yeah. Well, I think okay, it's fine to be informed about something. Like everyone has influence, but there's still like the necessary work to make something appear original.
Yeah. Well, just
Like
because you've never, yeah, like
yeah,
the
like
AI thing, like the AI learned, all this stuff and from things that already exist.
yeah, but is it creating anything new or is it just smashing and regurgitating things that already exist?
Exactly. That's like the argument people make.
I don't know. Maybe one day I'll get it. Right now, AI, all this feels like such a gimmick, especially the metaverse. Mark, what are you doing?
I, he just needs to invest in the technology. He wasted so much money on the metaverse itself. Just make the technology for other people to make metaverses. He's really good at making headsets. Like the headsets he pumps out are great. Like the Quest 2 was fantastic.
He
Just
could
focus on
call it.
that, bro.
He could call it the Big Bang. That's where the metaverse starts.
I also
The
hate
mi-
how he stole the word meta and corrupted it.
well, he's a billionaire. He can do whatever he damn well pleases.
Literally.
I don't know. I'll get it. One day, someday, I'll get it when my fridge and my robot butler do everything for me.
And then we'll be playing Sword Art Online. Come on, Neuralink.
It's still, people always talk about the future like it's just around the corner, but I am sorry, all that stuff still feels so distant. Like we were,
Hypothetically, like relatively, it is right around the corner. Like if it doesn't come out for 200 years in comparison to like the past 5,000, where like nothing has been done.
yeah.
Typically, it takes thousands of years for things to get accomplished. So for it to be only like 200 years, that's like nothing.
Well, yeah, like in comparison to the history of America, the internet's been around for the blink of an eye.
Exactly.
I mean, but like, I don't know. We talked ourselves into self-driving cars, and they haven't really figured it out yet.
I
So
mean, have
anytime
they
someone
not?
talks,
I feel like they have.
okay,
There's already
I
cars
guess
that are on the road that have it.
I should explain. Like, all I do is step into the car and go, car bot, please take me to work, and then it does everything for me. That's what I mean by like self-driving car.
Okay, yeah.
Like my new car has the whole lane departure assist thing, but it's just trying to look for lines. And if I haven't clicked on the turn signal, it's trying to make sure I stay between those lines.
hmm
That's not a self-driving feature. And even Tesla is not really a
Children can
self.
stay between the lines.
Yeah, yeah. Well, some just can't figure it out. But I don't know. So part of me is like I'm willing to be interested in the generalized conversation about a lot of the here's the future technology that people are working on. But like until it actually starts really coming to market or like being useful on a day-to-day basis for like a certain, I don't know, like a critical mass of people, like it's hard for me to get really excited about it. But anyway,
Yeah, I
what
can
you
see
got?
that.
You got anything planned the rest of the day?
More AI. Gotta finish the MSI Dragon.
Got to please the AI overlords. Got it.
Yep. Uh, no, not really plans. Um, Tomorrow I'm going to set up a Christmas tree with my family.
Nice. Is
I do.
that like tradition?
Oh, pretty much. Oh yeah, every year we do it.
Okay. Is it like here's Jacob's ornaments and he needs to put his ornaments on the tree?
No, no,
That kind of
we just open boxes and start putting them on.
okay. Because
We
like
got the what Victrola? Is that what those are? The record player things?
uh,
Let me look it up.
I think that's what they're
Victrola.
called. But yeah, you put the records on.
Playing old Christmas music.
Girl, put your record on. Tell me your favorite song.
Oh wait, we can't use the Victrola. I own the Victrola now. Oh
Oh,
shoot.
humanity.
Well, I guess we'll put something on the TV.
Well, that sounds like a blast.
How about you?
Not much. Not much going on this weekend. Just I don't know. I feel like
Don't
taking a nap.
know. Taking a nap. Ooh, that's real exciting.
Well, once you hit 30, you start doing the really exciting stuff.
Can't wait.
You'll get there. How old are you again?
25.
I thought so. Okay. Well, this has been fun, man. We gotta do another one, of course. Gotta keep this thing going. Gotta get that content out, man.
Yeah, maybe we should talk about more relatable topics next time.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, write me your suggestions and we'll see what we can do.
I don't know how many people are interested in AI.
Everybody, like you said, it's gonna encompass the world.
Yeah, well, computers encompass the world, and back in 1970, people didn't care about computers.
That's just how far ahead that we are. Okay?
Yeah.
We will be the ancient artifact that goes, these were the guys that got it.
Mm. I also feel like we talked about AI or technology a lot last time too.
Did we?
I remember talking about like Nikola Tesla and stuff. And maybe not.
All right. What do you want to talk about next time?
What are we going to talk about next time? That's a good question. Um, huh.
Hmm.
I don't want to talk about anything boring. I can only think of really boring topics. Like I was gonna be like, oh, the history and development of semiconductors or something.
Oh, good
Like,
Christ.
that's
Oh,
much more
yeah.
relatable.
Oh, yeah. Those things are great. So you're going to criticize me for talking about AI in the metaverse. And you're like, oh, let's talk about semiconductors.
No, it's just gotta think of something.
Yeah. Well, while you marinate on that, I'm going to go take a nap if you don't mind.
Okay.
All right.
Nighty
This has
night.
been fun. Thanks, man. See ya.
Yeah, I'll see ya.